I'm not panicking. You're panicking. This is fine. Hi, welcome. Come on in. My name is Aoife, and today I am taking the quarter year crisis tag. This was created by Roisin from Roisin's Reading, and it's kind of a companion tag to the mid-year freakout tag and the end of year book tag, because she noticed that this was the time of year that there was nothing to kind of wrap up, look back on, and look ahead from. There are a couple of good questions in here, so let's get started with the first one. How many books have you read so far this year? I am filming this just before the end of March, and it's looking like one or two might slip in here. So, Editing Aoife is going to put the number that I have finished in March right here, and that's where we're at the moment. It's a pretty good standard. I think I was expecting to be a little bit behind where I am right now, so I'm actually pretty happy with that number. Question 2, have you already found a book that might be your favourite book of the year? I think this is a very high contender. Again, Rachel by Marion Keyes. This was one of my most anticipated books for the year, and it did not disappoint. So far, this is the only book I've given a 5-star rating to, so I think that is pretty high up there, and it's going to be really interesting to see if anything topples it off the mark. If you've read Rachel's Holiday, then you're already familiar with Rachel and the struggles with drug abuse that she has gone through. But this takes place 25 years after her stint in rehab. Her life has completely turned around, and now she is actually one of the therapists working in the rehab centre that she first came to for help. I really loved watching how her life has improved and how life is going for her. But also, it was really great to catch up with the Walsh family as a whole and also meet some of the new members that have joined the crew. Question 3, are there any 1-star books or any book that was your least favourite so far? I don't give out 1-star ratings because if a book is looking like it's going to get a 1-star, I will just DNF it. I've been pretty ruthless with DNFing in the last couple of years. So if my book is really not gelling with me to that extent, I'm just going to say goodbye. But I would say that my least favourite book so far this year has been Milkman by Anna Burns. I was really looking forward to it because I know a couple of people who have read it and really enjoyed it. I also know a couple of people who have read it, and having looked at their reviews after having read this, turns out they weren't super impressed with it either. The big problem was that it felt a little bit impersonal, and I know that a lot of the reason that characters aren't identified in this is that it's a safety thing in Northern Ireland in the 1970s. But for me, as a character-driven reader, it did take me out of the story a little bit, trying to remember who is talking here. Who is this person? What is their relation to the main character of the story? It got to a stage where halfway through the book, I actually thought that maybe Boyfriend and the Milkman were the same person. Question 4 is, what is your most read genre so far? In a surprise to absolutely nobody, my most read genre has been contemporary romance. In fact, if I look on my story graph at the moment, contemporary and romance are the two top genres. I think contemporary has edged it out by maybe 1 or 2 books, but they would make up the vast majority of what I've been reading. If I had to calculate, I would say it's probably about 60% of what I've read has been a contemporary or a romance. Question 5, what is a book that surprised you? I went into this book with relatively low expectations, but expecting to enjoy it. But I don't think I expected to enjoy Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto as much as I did. It's kind of a Crazy Rich Asians meets Weekend at Bernie's book, and it is incredibly well written. It's quite funny. There are a lot of kind of twists and turns. In a way, it kind of reads like a Spanish telenovela in that so much is happening throughout the book, and roads that you think you're going down actually diverge and you're going way in the other direction that you thought you were going in. I read this as a buddy read with my friend Cora, who has a blog called Tea Party Princess, and we haven't actually sat down and talked about how we felt about it because she got ill a couple of days after we finished this up. So I really do need to have a sit down and chat with her about this, but I absolutely loved it. The sequel to this has just come out. It's called Four Aunties in a Wedding, and definitely I'm going to keep an eye out for that one. Question 6 is, what is a book that has already come out in 2022 that you haven't read yet but you're looking forward to? There's a couple here, but one of the big ones, and one that I actually have a copy of, is When You Get a Chance by Emma Lord. I've loved both of her books so far. I did love Tweet Cute a little bit more than I liked You Have a Match, But I am really excited to get to this one because it has so many things in it that I know I'm gonna love. It's got a theatre kid, which was also what I was when I was growing up. It's got found family, long lost relatives. It's got a father and daughter dynamic relationship. I am so hyped about this book. Question 7. What is one goal that you are succeeding at so far? At the start of the year, I made a couple of kind of goals and aims that I wanted to see through the year. And one that I am doing really well at so far is, surprisingly, the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I've got about 21 of the prompts ticked off so far, and when that's out of 50, that's actually not too bad. I'm almost halfway through the list, and we're only a quarter of the way through the year. Now, there are a couple of prompts that are going to be a little bit more difficult for me to fill out because I'm not a fantasy reader, I'm not a sci-fi reader, and there are some prompts that lean very heavily towards those genres. But I'm really hopeful that I can find one that suits my reading tastes and that this year I can actually tick them all off. Question 8, what is one goal that you need to focus more on? I also said that I wanted to read a book cover to cover in German, and I know that we're only a quarter of the way through the year, but it has not come on my radar at all. I have got a book in German. I have got a copy of Matilda by Roald Dahl in German, and I know that that's going to be a really good one for me to try out because I'm already familiar with the story. I just need to concentrate on the grammar, on sentence syntax, on why this structure is used instead of this one. But I am also really kind of apprehensive and scared about whether it's going to ruin the story for me or whether it's going to overwhelm me because it's a different language and a different reading experience. And I have a feeling as well it might take me a little bit longer to get through the book because, again, it's a different language. And my German skills are pretty good, but I don't know if they're full book in German good. Question 9, who are some new to you bookstagrammers, booktubers, book talkers, book bloggers, anything in the book community you found in 2022 that you would recommend? First that I found was Crystal from Bon Book Reviews, and I absolutely love her channel. She's got a really interesting TBR game where she plays kind of like beer pong to decide what she's going to read for the month, and I genuinely look forward to watching that every single month. She also runs some productivity sprints on what for me are Thursday mornings, but for her are more so like Thursday afternoon, evening at 7 o'clock because she's in Australia. But I love actually putting those on in the background while I'm at work and focusing really hard on the task at hand. It does end up just kind of structuring my day a little bit more. I've also really enjoyed Brianna from Four Paws and a Book because we seem to have quite similar reading tastes. And when I find a new booktuber who has similar reading tastes to me, I am instantly going to subscribe to them. I really love her series that she does where she tries to find out if you can trust the book reviews that come from different shops. So recently she has done a video where she went to see if she can trust Barnes & Noble, which I thought was really interesting because as somebody who doesn't live in the US, I hear about Barnes & Noble a lot, but I never really get to experience what their book selling places are like or what kind of suggestions that they make for people. So, on to the final part. Who are you going to tag to take part in this? So, I'm going to tag Paige from Pages with Paige, Shar from Thoroughly Enjoy Books, Michelle from Michelle's Library, and Daniela from Only For a Page. I'm also going to tag Crystal and Brianna, and if they all would love to take this tag, I would love to see their answers. Those are my answers to the quarter year crisis book tag. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.